Good afternoon. Welcome to Bloomington's Rotary Club's celebration of service. I'm Ron Barnes, and it's an honor to be your president. We have an exciting program today, so we're going to move it right along. Our thought for the day: to succeed in life, you need three things. First, a wishbone, then a backbone, then a funny bone. Reba McIntyre. We have a reflection from past President Sally Gaskell. Sally?
Thank you, Ron. You might think that, excuse me, I am getting a cold. We'll try to work through this. You might think that, of course, it's spring and I'm going to talk about baseball, but I'm not. But just so you remember, spring training is in the final couple of weeks. In fact, the regular season opens this week in, guess where? Seoul, South Korea. Jim Wright, of course, knows that. The Dodgers and the Padres. But no, I am going to talk about something that's closer to home. How many of you would say that you like to read for pleasure? Oh, nice. How many of us are members of our Rotary Book Club? Oh, no. Everyone's a member of the Rotary Book Club. Okay, good. So we began meeting once every quarter during the pandemic on Zoom, and now we meet every 3 months in person at a member's home with a Zoom option. Like many things in our club, the Rotary Book Club was the idea of past President Lawrence Snyder, who also invented the Quarterly Lunch Buddies program. Please raise your hand if you've ever been to a session of the Rotary Book Club over the last couple of years. Awesome. So we decided, I'm not quite sure why, but we decided in the beginning to focus on books about Indiana or by Indiana authors or set in Indiana. So, for example, we've read Jim Madison's book, The KKK in the Heartland, another history book, Lulu Miller's, called Fish Don't Exist, about former IU President David Starr Jordan. We've read some fiction set in Indiana, like The Eloquent Zori by Laird Hunt, a native of our fair state. And we read books by Hoosier authors such as Kurt Vonnegut, Charlotte Zitlow, and William Cook, who later spoke to our club. He's the physician in Austin, Indiana, who wrote so poignantly about the opioid crisis there. Our next book, April 17th at my house, is also by someone who has spoken to our club, and that's Bloomington native Michael Corrida. You may remember that Michael was a reporter at the HT and also a private investigator. He is now a New York Times bestselling author whose books have been translated into more than 20 languages. So we decided to read So Cold the River, written in 2010, set mostly, I think, in French Lick at the West Baden Hotel. Has anyone seen the feature film that was released, I think, last year? Okay, well, here's the good news. The book is better than the movie, so I'm told. Oh, and by the way, if you're a Michael Corrida fan, he'll be in Bloomington next week at the Downtown Library, March 28th, discussing his latest book, which he's written under a pseudonym, Scott Carson. So to sum up, the next meeting of the Rotary Book Club, which you're all invited to, is at my house on Wednesday, April 17th at 7 p.m. You're welcome to join us then or at any time in the future. Just let the host know in advance. You can find out about what we're reading and when we're meeting through the Rotaract. Our book club is a wonderful opportunity to socialize with fellow Rotarians and, of course, to focus on an interesting topic. It's kind of like our weekly programs here. I might not think I'm interested in what a guest speaker has to say. Of course, today is a total exception to that since I'm an arts advocate. Looking forward to the puppets. But then I always change my mind after I've heard the speaker because they're always fabulous. And the same can be said for the books that we read. Thank you.
Thanks, Sally. Now to introduce our guest, Amy Osajima. Amy? There you are. Looking for you to stand up.
Okay, today we have in person Rotaractor Jun Wan. And Liam Robbins, son of Teresa Clare. And Joy, do we have anybody online?
Hey, Amy, and hey, everybody. No, we do not. We are Rotarians.
Thank you, Amy. We have some birthdays, Rotarians celebrating birthdays tomorrow. Jill Bond has a birthday and Monica Kroner. And then on the 22nd, we have Steve Versailles. Happy birthday to all three of you. We have some Rotary anniversaries to celebrate. Jeff Baldwin, 10 years. Sandy Keller, 5 years and 7 total, 2 in another club. Steve Moberly, 17 years. Steve, congratulations. And Shelley Yoder, 11 years. Have some announcements. There is a board meeting this Thursday noon at the Mill, and many of the committee chairs will present their action plans for the strategic plan. Again, the whole key is to keep the strategic plan that we all worked hard on, not turn into shelf paper, but an active living document. And that discussion will continue. And I'd like to also mention that Tracy, our president-elect, attended PETS this weekend. It's where several of the districts in Indiana and Illinois get together in Effingham, and it's a great session to talk about training, but also the idea of Rotary and what will take place in the next year. So Tracy, thanks for covering for our club and thanks for being there. Your presence is really appreciated. And by the way, for the district conference, which is April 20th, Tracy's working on our friendship basket. So you have something to add to the friendship basket, please see Tracy. Last announcement, I'm going to represent all of you tonight at Ivy Tech Bloomington's annual scholarship reception. We will have 3 scholarships going out to from our club to Ivy Tech students. So it'll be fun to meet our 3 students, and I'll report back next week about that meeting. Now to introduce our program, Roseanne Levy will introduce our special guest. Roseanne?
I have to lower this because I'm getting shorter. It is a real pleasure for me to introduce Robin and David and I'm going to pat myself on the back. I brought David in as a member to Rotary. So I thank you for that. For over 28 years, Robin Holm and David Wright, performing as the theater troupe Adzooks Puppets, have been captivating audiences throughout Indiana and across the United States. Their puppetry journey has included hundreds of schools, libraries, museums, and festivals, inspiring over 350 participants through over 4,000. I'm sorry? 350,000. I thought I said that. Oh, sorry. 350,000. I mean, we really have to congratulate that. Participants through over 4,000 interactive performances and workshops. Their travels have taken them far and wide to places like Detroit Institute of Arts, the Atlanta Center for Puppetry Arts, the Tennessee Arts Academy, the Singapore American School, and the 17-city tour in Japan. Besides performing, they've had lots of fun experiences along the way, such as working on the movie Prancer. How many of you saw Prancer? Yay, good. I have to go home and watch it. Being puppeteers in a commercial for Steak and Shake, teaching a puppetry course at IUPUI, and helping to design a puppetry exhibit at the Children's Museum in Indianapolis. That's a great place. Their mission is to bring imagination to life. Imagination to life, and to create experiences that are immersive, inspiring and entertaining for all. In recognition of these efforts, they are past recipients of the Puppeteers of America Founders Award and the Young Audiences of Indiana Arts Powering Education Award. Now let's all give a big hand for Robin and David from Adzooks Puppets.
Well, good afternoon.
You can say.
It is a good afternoon, right? A great afternoon, a spectacular afternoon. Good, we're happy to be here. Thanks for having us out for today. And today we're going to show you a little bit about how we got started, who we are, and what we do. And we're going to start with a question or a comment that we get most often when we meet somebody. A lot of people tell us they've never met a puppeteer before. So in the audience, how many of you have met a puppeteer before besides us in person? Okay, so that holds pretty true. How many of you have ever seen a live puppet show? Oh, nice, nice, very good. So I'm going to tell you the story of how I got started with puppets. It all starts a little over 28 years ago. I went to a wedding, a friend's wedding, and I spotted somebody over in the corner. And they were kind of like doing a Pied Piper, Peter Pan kind of thing. Somehow they had attracted all the kids at the wedding reception over to their corner, and they were making little origami figures with them and had them all engaged and everything. And that was Robin, and that's how we met. So that started a journey of mine into puppetry. And I asked her questions that we both get asked all the time. One was, how did she get started in puppetry? And the answer was, she met some puppeteers. She had done art in high school, theater in college, but it hadn't occurred to her until she met some puppeteers in Ohio that puppetry combined those two disciplines into one. And instead of having to play a young woman in our town or something like that, puppetry would enable her to become a king or a dragon or all sorts of characters and all sorts of stories. And so today you all get to meet puppeteers. So who knows? Maybe it's contagious. Maybe some of you will become puppeteers too. Since that time, we've done lots of fun things, as we mentioned in the intro. So we're going to play a little video here just to show you a couple minutes of highlights of stuff we've done over the years so you can kind of visualize what it is our career has entailed. And this is an older video. That's why the numbers don't quite match up. This is from over 10 years. We've done a few things. And we have traditional shows, the circus show you're going to get to see today that brings up volunteers out of the audience. We have the strolling characters some of you met at the beginning of the day.
And the top of our day starts with CBS, you know.
Because we know there's more to this morning.
That's our literal 15 seconds of fame.
That's a welcome to New York. Welcome back to CBS This Morning. I'm Jay Noble. And I'm Jose Diaz-Flores.
And here's the Steak and Shake commercial we helped out with.
Fudge and introducing s'mores.
Steak and Shake.
That was our 3 seconds of fame. It took 3 days to shoot that. This is a shadow production we did for a local group, and this is a video that Robin did that Mary and Ed helped out with. Answer was shot up in northern Indiana. She helped with the puppet reindeer stand-in. We have lots of different shows. This is a giant 30-foot puppet we helped make for the Wiz with Asante Children's Theater. And these are some of the shots from the Children's Museum exhibit. We were consultants, and then they had us do some displays and performances with that. We made little cardboard people of us. We still have the little mini-me's. And we made the demo puppets for some marionettes for that. This is a big parade puppet with a backpack harness. We also have done a lot of teachers in services over the years to talk about how to use it in the classroom. And these are found object puppets that we've really been drawn to the last few years when we're working with kids. And this is a bigger version with mops and brooms. These are fifth graders made these over like a week's time with us. So they had longer than we usually have. These are shadow puppets we like to do with younger kids a lot. Everybody likes them, but they are particularly taken to get to see their artwork giant on the wall, you know. We collaborate with other artists. This is with a jazz group with Beeble Brox here in town. We did a show for a while that showed kids about jazz music. And this is the King of the World exhibit at the IMA. And we have lots of puppets at home. We have several hundred. We have a puppet collection. We have our show puppets. We have about 12 or 15 different shows, but there's about 5 that keep that. And we work a lot with young audiences, Arts for Learning. And that's our mission, to bring imagination to life. So now, when you're going to embark on your puppeteer journey, how do you get started? Well, we're going to start with a little bit of philosophy. What is a puppet? I mean, I know if you walk into Walmart, you'll recognize them on the shelf or whatever like that. But have you ever thought about what makes a puppet a puppet? I'll show you what I mean. Quick question. Don't worry, easy quiz. One question. Is this a puppet? It could be, but it's not. It's a spaghetti spoon. Is this a puppet? Could be. Wow, they're very optimistic. But right now it's just a shovel, a toy shovel, a sand shovel. But what happens between the could be and is? That's what we want to get at. So Robin, when I met her, I discovered that puppeteers like to play around with objects like these. They like to make them do things they don't normally do. Like it looks like they're starting to talk and walk and dance and jump, well, leap, shovel, but that's close. And swim and fly. Now, you just told us that a shovel and a spoon were walking and talking with each other. You said they were dancing and swimming and flying and leapfrogging and jumping. Now, how can that be? Well, they're starting to become puppets, right? So a minute ago, they weren't puppets. And then all of a sudden, just like that, Miss Robin turned them into puppets. But what did she do to turn them into puppets? She just had to make them move, right? But if she stirs the soup, is that a puppet movement? Not really, no. What if she digs in the sandbox? No. So to be a puppet, you have to move it in a special way. Like if she makes it walk like a bug, that's more like a puppet, right? Or if she makes it fly like a bird. So what's the difference? To be a puppet, you have to move it like a bird or a fish or a bug or a person or anything that is alive. It's alive.
No.
It's not alive. But if you make it act alive for the audience, then it becomes a puppet and you become a puppeteer, right? Now, would you guys like to know the secret of how to become a professional? Charge somebody $1 to watch you play with your puppet and you'll be a professional.
Yeah.
So, but you probably wanted to do more than to take something like this to show off to your grandkids, right? You'd be like, look, I made a puppet masterpiece. They'd probably just use it in the soup, right? So when we do workshops in the schools, we show people how to take things like this and add some stuff to them. Give them a personality, turn them into a character, and make them their own work of art. And what's cool about the puppet is puppets are basically sculptures. But as we said, what makes them become true puppets is when you bring them to life, when you animate them for the audience. So a puppet has different stages in its life. It gets made or created, then it comes to life, and then it can tell stories and all these kinds of things. And you want to pay attention. We're going to show you some examples here in a second, because who knows? You might go home and make hundreds more. You could do your own puppet show, right? Maybe for some grandkids or something like that, a little kindergarten class. You might make like a puppet YouTube. You could do some anonymous political commentary, you know, so we won't know. You could maybe even make a little puppet movie or do a little puppet concert sing along with some of the kids. So we're going to do a little bit of our circus show here. And to do it, we're going to warm up your imagination. And we're going to use this feather duster here.
Okay. It's a duster. Yeah? Yeah. But you're the audience, and the audience,
Glad we didn't go.
most important part of today's
I
performance.
wasn't looking forward
That
to
means
this.
that
Oh.
oh, someone on Zoom. Hi, Zoom. Okay, so now, audience, you have something I need to do this today. So we have to find it. It's called your imagination. And I'm sure all of you brought it with you, right? Are you guys sure? Yeah. Did you check? Okay, take a finger tap on your head. Just go. In there, take a little out. Just go. Shh. And it's going to be a puppet show, so we need to make a puppet. Is this a puppet? You said, nah, duster. Take your imagination, count of 3, throw it at the duster. Here we go. 1, 2, come on, Liam. 3, throw. Over there goes. Way in the back. There it is. There's your puppet. Ah, I forgot. I forgot to say the duster. Are you a puppet? Then we know for sure. So on the count of 3, say it with me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Are you
a puppet?
puppet? Oh, yeah. You don't look like a puppet. I know. What are we going to do? I'll tell you what. Maybe we should look at some other puppets that I have, and we'll figure this out. We'll figure out what kind of puppet is a duster.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Be good?
Yeah.
All righty, let's get started. Okay. Tried and true. How many of you have made one of these? Think back. It's a sock, and then we just need to put on
Fun trivia fact. The first puppet Robin ever made
sock puppet.
was a sock puppet that she still has today. She made when she was 7 years old. So just, a few years ago. Oh, what's wrong?
We can't use this puppet today. He's a little hoarse.
Little known fact, puppets are great for puns.
Jake, he is a rake. He likes to wiggle and he likes to shake. It's Jake the rake. Okay, what else we got? An early bird goes in your garden, gets worms. Can you dig it?
Decent crowd for
See
that.
the crowd, okay. Ooh, now we can get to the musical part. This is Elvis. Elvis likes to sing.
Ain't nothing but a hound dog rocking all the time. And I got my blue suede shoes. Yeah, no, I don't. I forgot my shoes.
Just say thank you.
All right, I thank you very much.
A lot of times the rod puppets don't have feet because they're behind the
There you
stage.
These puppets are starting to drive you guys batty. Batty?
There's your baseball reference, just like the
Baseball.
intro. Yeah.
All right, maybe we can get all these guys done in time for spring. Okay, yeah. A few puns.
So
So,
now that we're warmed up, I think we're going to start with the circus of your very own imagination. So let's, we're going to need a few volunteers.
throughout this, we're gonna need volunteers, so Liam.
And I'm going to put on some
and your
circus
friend, and
music.
Your friend. Yeah, come to.
We heard he's here on a service day today, so we're going to put him into service.
Put
You're
you
going to
into
stand right in the middle here. I'm going to put on some circus
He's gonna
music.
be really tall. All righty, and we need one more person. Well, here, put you in the middle. Stand right there.
Watch your step on the stage there.
Step over.
And then we'll need one more volunteer.
Okay, now, we're gonna do this.
Oh my gosh, it's a shy
So
crowd.
now we're creating a Boon Raku style puppet.
Be daring. This is your moment. This is your breakthrough. This is your big chance to get on the stage. Big round of applause for our volunteers over here. That's what we were missing.
This other side.
Come over here. We'll put the
And
left hand and left glove there.
I'm just gonna have you do the tree. Right in there. And you let
And then
go.
she's gonna clap his hands once and twice.
Because I need you to do this.
And you know, we like the styling hats. So we're gonna give him a little hat. You have to watch your head there a bit.
Alrighty, you're so tall. All right, and step in, because now it's time to introduce the ringmaster of the Circus of Imagination. His name is Claude. Say hello, Claude.
Hello, 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 hello. My name is Claude. I am a ringmaster of Circus of Imagination. Now, audience, you have a job. You need to know how to applaud. I take my right hand. I hit my left hand 1 time. You go 1. Now I go for 2. 1, 2. And now we go for 3. 1, 2, 3. Everybody applaud. Oh, now you got your job. After every act in today's circus, don't forget me. I am the Claude. And now you may applaud.
Let's have a big round of applause for Claude, the ringmaster. And helpers, we're gonna keep you around for the next act, I think, since we got some shy after dinner group here.
Yep, stay here.
And we're gonna need 2 more volunteers for the next act.
How about our,
Big round of applause for our daring soul here. The steps are right over here. And 1 more.
where did our student?
All right, there we go. A fun fact, a lot of puppeteers are kind of shy at first. That's why we hide behind the puppet stage and everything like that. And as we said, puppets are great for telling stories.
Okay.
And one of the things we do with the puppets a lot of times is to use them as a muse to think of stories instead of looking at a blank sheet of paper. Like if you've ever wanted to write that kid's novel you never could quite think of, you can use your puppets to help brainstorm the story, try it out. Then you could record yourself doing it, and then you've got everything the puppets say and do. You can take pictures of your puppets for illustrations. And after you get your story and your illustrations and all that kind of stuff done, you can just take a photo book to make it at Walmart or Walgreens or wherever, and you can use the pictures of your puppets for the illustrations and put your name on the back, and you'll be published. Would you like to know how to become a professional author? Charge somebody $1 for your book. All right, I think Robin's got everybody almost ready here. If you can come off to the side here, see, lurking back there.
All right, now.
And now,
I'm gonna have to do this.
stories for your puppets. The easiest way to get started is think of it in 3 parts. In the beginning, decide what your puppets want to do for fun. In the middle, think of a fun and silly problem that messes everything up. And at the end, figure out how your puppets can solve the problem. And if you would like a moral solution to your problem, to make it a really good story, just follow the rules of Rotary. Make sure that the solution is fair for all those involved, beneficial to all concerned, has an inner truth to it, and is fun.
Okay.
And with that in mind,
And now it's time to tell the story of the Lunchbox Lion Tamers. Once upon a time, a long time ago, in the circus there lived a very grouchy lion. Every time someone told him to do something, the lion would say, Everybody try it. One day, Green, the lion tamer, came to the lion and said, "Open your mouth."
Open your mouth.
And the lion said, So we called our friend with the feather duster to tickle the lion, tickle him, say, tickle, tickle.
Tickle, tickle, tickle.
And he started to sneeze. He went, oh, oh, oh. She put her head in. Uh-oh, you got a problem. All right, so she said to her friend, Red, help me.
Red, help me.
And she did
well, except
pantomime.
didn't have a head. I guess she probably went like this.
Yeah, so Red came to the lion and Red said in a big voice, open your mouth.
Open your mouth.
And the lion said, So called, tickle over here, didn't I tickle the lion?
Tickle, tickle, tickle.
And the lion started to sneeze. He went, oh, 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 put her head in. Oh. Now they both have the same problem.
You know, their moms always told them they'd
Oh,
lose their heads if they weren't glued on.
Oh, yeah. So they called our friend Forrest over here. He knows that the lion, he's a puppeteer. The lion is really afraid of what? No, finger puppets.
But the way they look alive and everything
Yeah,
really
it's
scares the lion,
happened to
especially
me
finger
now.
puppet
So
mice.
in just a moment, he said, I'm going to make a loud, scary sound. I'm going to scare the lion. When I scare the lion, I want you to get your heads back. That's what you said, right? Say yes.
Yes, that's what
Yes,
I
what he
said.
said. Okay, let's count. Let's count. And we'll all make the loud, scary sound with Forrest. 1, 2, 3, loud, scary sound. Wah!
And we gave him that so he would benefit at the end. It was good for all.
And they lived happily ever after.
Thanks to puppetry. A big round of applause for the Lunchbox Lion Tamers and our helpers.
And our helpers are going to
And for the sake of time and volunteers, I think we're going to keep you guys up here for our next act.
All right.
You know, in the circus, they used to have that act where you get way up on the high wire and you do a balancing act and everything. Do all kinds of tricks. The tightrope walker. So we're going to have you hold with both hands. You're going to go to the other end there for us.
Stay here.
And kind of come back. No, I'm sorry. That was.
No, stay there.
I mean, you're going to scoot back over here a little bit. Just
He's going to
stretch it out till it's taut.
Or it doesn't have. Well, okay.
And come forward a little bit.
Forward a little bit so you
there
don't
you
fall
go.
off the stage.
Don't fall off the stage.
Okay. Now everybody let go. Let go, let go, let go, let go, let go.
All right.
Because we're going to make a puppet.
Does that look like a puppet?
Yeah.
No, that's more like the laundry. I don't think anybody wants to do the laundry. But if you take one of them, put one over the other, you could use hand towels or hand scarves. Put one in each hand there.
Come down just a shade to your waist. Down just a shade to your waist. Tight.
And you're going to balance his feet on the rope.
All right.
Okay. Now he's not going to grab it, but he's going to kind of walk along there. And then he's going to need a head. Right here.
Yep.
And kind of put your fingers on top there. It's easier to hold them.
Okay, kind of got that. Okay,
Okay.
and now we have Dots, the tightrope walker. Everybody say hi, Dots.
Hi, Dots.
Dots, say hi. Hi. Okay, now Dots, what are you going to do? I don't know. All
Well,
right, let's ask for it.
Let's have Dots start off slowly. Let's have him walk that way. Which way is that way? Right or left?
Wait, what is that?
Is that right?
Is that right?
Dots right. It's a little confusing because it's our right, but it's your left. So we call it stage right, so we don't get too confused. So
Pick up your
everybody say, let's say Dots, stage right.
Thank you. Woo, woo, woo. Cha, 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 cha.
Okay, now what? Ask Tim.
Which way? The back the other way?
Stage left.
Good job.
Everybody say
Everybody say
Dots,
Dots.
stage left.
Stage left. He likes to ham it up at the end.
All right,
All right,
now
now
what?
let's do something a little fancier. Let's have him stand on one leg.
Everybody say one leg.
Stand on one leg, me or the
We'll let the puppet take that part. In case we need more volunteers.
Whoa.
All right, now this is no ordinary puppet, no ordinary tightrope act. So let's have him do something fancier. Maybe stand on his head.
Stand on your head.
Legs go straight up in the air. There you go.
Wow. Whoa. Whoa.
All right.
All right, now maybe something else.
Something really hard.
Do the splits.
Oh. Whoa. Cha. Oh.
That's tricky.
Now,
All right, and now maybe a grand
Grand
finale.
finale.
Do a flip.
How about a flip?
A flip?
Everybody say a flip.
A flip?
Okay, we're gonna count. We're gonna go
Let me
1,
say go, you guys.
2, 3, go!
Because at the end of every act, you get so excited, he just flips. A big round of applause for Dots, the tightrope walker. And our helpers stand side by side. Take a big bow and let's clap for them again as they return to their seats.
Watch yourself.
These brave souls.
Good job. Good job. Good job. There we go.
All right. Now, so that brings us to why we do what we do. As you saw, some of you were kind of hesitant to come up. As you got up here, you kind of warmed up, got comfortable with being on stage, with bringing that imagination to life. And that's what we like. That's our mission, to go around to schools, libraries, festivals, museums, and bring joy and imagination to the crowds. And we have a little photo we'd like to share with you guys that kind of sums up everything about why we do what we do. And this is from a show we did at the Athenaeum in Indianapolis a while back. And if you scan the crowd there, you get to see the excitement and the joy. But everything isn't all about the fun parts. Of course, there's the business part. And speaking of tightropes, it's been a tightrope the last few years. And we'd like to close with just a little commentary. We go around a lot of schools. We see a lot of programs, a lot of different communities. And we've watched over the last 28 years how there are fewer and fewer arts programs in the schools. There are hardly any programs for theater at the elementary school level. Sometimes it's at the high school level, but that'll only be the 30 kids that are in the drama club, you know? And so it's been our personal mission to keep trying to keep that alive. And as you all kind of said and showed, a lot of people haven't met puppeteers because there's fewer and fewer of us. It's kind of a dying art form that we're doing our best to keep going. And next year is going to be our 30th anniversary. It's a year and a half away for those of you wondering about the 28-year thing. And we're going to start trying to do something a little different. We're going to start trying to pioneer a puppet partner program, because a lot of the schools, they all like to have us. The kids all love the puppets, but there's a huge annual grant cycle, and sometimes they don't get the grants. We're hardly ever in the budget. Libraries will have it as their mission to have public programming, but some of the libraries only have like $400 a year in the budget to spend on programs, which, you know, $30 a month isn't exactly. So one of our strategies to try and build back up after COVID is going to be to look for people that'll help us sponsor shows and workshops in the community. And if that's something you'd be interested in helping us pilot, we have a little sign-up sheet there by the door when you leave. And with that, we'll thank you guys again for having us. Give yourselves another round of applause. We'll take some too. We're Adzooks Puppets. And I think we're about ready for some questions. And I'll turn the music back off. Okay, we've got one over here, one over there.
Do you want me to do the mic?
Can you tell us how many programs you've done specifically in Bloomington or in the Bloomington schools? Do you have a relationship there?
Yes, we've done every couple of years. We usually do Ellettsville and Bloomington libraries for their summer reading program. There's been a bit of a gap between COVID and they're remodeling here recently. But usually they'd have us do that. In the past, we've done some stuff with Bloomington Parks. It's been a while, but we did Boys and Girls Club years ago. Yes. And then a couple of the elementary schools in town. We used to do the kindergarten kickoff for, is it Arlington on the east side?
Yeah. It's been a while.
Okay, another question. Don't worry, we got plenty of time.
I guess it was deliberate that you left the G off your name. Adzooks. instead of what I
stretch.
grew up with, which was gadzooks. Is that too close to a swear word?
Well,
That's very
it's
accurate.
very accurate.
So
A long,
a long time ago, how all this got started and sent us down this path is I made a side comment to Robin once that at the time when we met, she was teaching at a small private school called Meridian Academy of the Arts up in Greenwood, Indiana. And I said, well, that's really interesting, but with such a rare talent with puppetry, why aren't you doing that full time? And I guess I got what I asked for because she came back a few weeks later out of nowhere and said, you were right. I quit my job. Better get busy. And the first thing we did is we grabbed a thesaurus and tried to find a name.
Yep.
And we ran across adzooks. It means wow, or oh my.
It means, oh.
But as she said, hundreds of years ago,
It meant the hooks of God.
it was like a swear word. So
Yeah.
adzooks was like the drat of gadzooks.
So we
But
dropped
it's changed over the years to just mean wow or oh my.
like a clothing store.
All right, next question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who are some of the puppeteers you admire?
Some of the puppeteers I admire. Well, there have been so many. Martin Stevens from Indiana. He was amazing. Marionette person, lived in Middlebury. Very good friend for many, many years. Would go over to his house, have potluck supper. And he trooped a lot of people out. And I know how to do marionettes and I make marionettes, but I don't tour with marionettes. So that's one. And Bill Baird, I met Bill Baird.
Kukla, Fran, and Ollie.
Kukla, Fran, and Ollie Bertilstrom, really good guy. And then just you name it, because I was the executive secretary of Puppeteers of America. So I knew just about everybody.
Speaking of puppeteers, we only got to meet him briefly. We went out to lunch with him at a
Mike.
Puppeteers of America festival. But do you guys know Frank Oz from the
Oz.
Muppets?
His dad,
His dad was Mike Osnowitz.
good friend.
He was a puppeteer in the 1930s in Antwerp, Belgium. And he had an amazing story where he was doing political satire shows with marionettes. And one of the marionettes was a Hitler puppet.
Was Hitler.
Well, when the Nazis invaded and started attacking Belgium, they had to flee. They found out they were literally on a list of political activists. And he buried the Hitler puppet in a yard because it wouldn't be great to be discovered with it, right? And years later, they went back after the war, dug it up, and it got to finally be on display at a Jewish museum in California.
Yeah.
But that's where Frank Oz got his start.
Yeah. We always used to-
His dad was a marionette performer right
Yeah.
before World War II.
and we always used to, at our conventions, the Puppeteers of America convention, always used to take Mike somewhere. Got to go somewhere. He always wanted to go to Hooters to get the free dessert.
For his birthday.
For his birthday. He'd say, it's my birthday. And then everybody goes, oh yeah. And then they bring him cake. And he did that at every Hooters that we ever went to. Yeah.
And
Oh, Sherry Lewis. Yeah. That's where I learned my ventriloquism. was with
Robin
Sherry.
got to meet Sherry Lewis. She crammed ventriloquism 3 weeks before to help out with. They were going around to stores
Selling a
promoing
product that she had, a puppet she had designed
Uh,
for commercial sale,
lamb chop.
lamb chop.
Okay, another
And
question.
Charlotte's got one online. Charlotte,
Charlotte. Hello.
can you get unmuted? While you're unmuting, we'll get another question, okay?
Thank you. Thank you, Michael. It's my understanding, David and Robin, that it was Rosie who connected you with us. And I would just be curious as to how you met Rosie, and have you done other Rotary clubs and Rotary teams?
My mother was a member of Rotary in Martinsville. She was the director of the homeless shelter there in town for about 20 years. And so I had thought about joining in the past and it never quite got around to it. And I was participating in a program at the mill on entrepreneurship for another business I'm working on trying to start. And Rosie was presenting there. And I mentioned the puppetry and what we did. And artists always seem to find each other. We're scattered about, but we're always drawn together. And she invited me out, and that was the turning point I needed to finally do what I'd been intending to do for years. So I'm really grateful that she brought me into your fold.
Okay, I can.
Another question back here.
Did you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead, Charlotte.
Okay, you know, there was a puppet group here for years and years in Bloomington.
Yes.
Nina Olst and David something. And they performed regularly. Many people at the library especially. Did you know about them?
We knew of them, but didn't know them personally.
Yeah, because they were there frequently.
Yes.
And were very good and related to the children and the grown-ups here. Just to be sure that they don't get lost in our memory, because they were important for a while.
Mm-hmm.
But it's been a while. So it's nice to see more puppets today. Thank you.
Do you make all of your own puppets?
Yes, all of the puppets. Yes. Matter of fact, except, like these we use for examples with the kids. They're quick and easy.
Yeah, the ones at your tables, we've put an example on each table. This is what we do with the kids. We usually have about 45
Try it
minutes to
out.
work with them. Like I said, when we had longer, we were able to do the parade puppets. And, but the ones like the strolling granny that was introducing you guys a while back, she took about 35 hours to make that one.
Yeah. Face alone, 6 at least. We also do tie-ins when we do a residency program. So when we were in Singapore, we were working different things. We did whole school performances, whole school making 900 and some puppets.
And one class did like a teamwork book where they took all the puppets they made and
Turned it into
told what the characters were, and each couple pages was a story.
the, yep.
Okay, another question?
Do you all work with therapists to help them develop skills in working with children from dysfunctional or broken families, et cetera?
Yes, one of the biggest successes we've had or real breakthroughs is with kids with autism. And we've been wondering about that for years. And just a couple of years ago, a study came out that for some reason, kids with autism tend to really get engaged with the puppetry. And we had an instructor once literally tear up because we were there all week. And this one girl was very soft-spoken, very shy, kind of like you guys. And she talked in a hushed whisper voice whenever her puppet was supposed to talk. And all through the week, she got louder and more confident and louder. And the Parents' Day was the last day, and they came in and told us they had never heard her project full volume like that. And for her, there was interesting too. It was so symbolic and so simple. Her puppets got bigger and bigger each day. She kept choosing a bigger and bigger puppet to make.
Really? Nice.
I wondered if you write stories with your puppet characters and perform with those.
Yeah.
Yes, we also create our own stories.
All our own plays.
We usually add a little twist, like our Tortoise and the Hare show. In the end, like we were talking about solving it for all the characters, the tortoise realizes maybe he could learn how to do things a little bit faster. And the hare realizes maybe he could learn something from the tortoise and do things a little more slow and steady. And then they work together and we have a gardening subplot for that one.
Yeah, and then they grow a turnip, a giant turnip.
And in The Ant and the Grasshopper, the story of like, in that story for ours, the grasshopper, that almost gets frozen in the cold. After all the work's done, he entertains the ants through the winter with his singing and dancing.
Because the work is all done.
And
Now
so
it's
they
time.
trade services where he's the artist for the ants and the ants help him save all the food for the winter.
Sing and dance and have some fun. Also, like what Dave was saying is we have kind of a way of performing which is live and interactive. And when we're doing like Punch and Judy, which is a kinder, gentler version, Punch will talk to the audience and they will scream and yell things to him that he needs to know.
It's kind of like a roller coaster.
And it goes up and down.
We always joke we get invited to go to the places that usually tell the kids to be quiet and get them all riled up, kind of like grandparents do.
But they enjoy interacting because now they've become part of the show. And at the beginning, I always tell them that they are the most important part of today's show. Otherwise, I don't tell them this part, it's rehearsal. So they are the show.
All right, next question.
Have you ever thought about doing your shows at hospitals, even for children or adults?
Yes, and we did a whole series for Riley. And it was.
We used to know somebody out at Riley and we would tape little segments for their in-house video.
Yeah.
I think they've kind of done different things now.
I don't know if they still
We've
even
done
have
some nursing homes when we've been down to do a school project and kind of pair up with that. But yes, occasionally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last question.
I was noticing this strolling granny. What kind of materials did you use for the face? Was it paper mache?
For Granny? No, she's soft foam carved, covered with like a Muppet fleece or a cherry Muppet fleece.
Muppet fleece means that it can
It
stretch
can
both
stretch,
ways.
and it's sewn. It's all hand stitched. So, and she's put together in two parts, the main skull and then the independent jaw. Yeah, and I learned that from a workshop that I took, and a very good friend of ours, Angela Beasley, down in Atlanta, the person that we used to open up the Circle Center Mall.
She was our very first gig. We helped staff the grand opening in 1995 for the Parisian store.
The giant.
With a bunch of
puppets,
walk-around
giant
puppet
puppets. Yeah, and I
All
learned
right.
that technique.
Thank you for sharing your artistry with us.
Thank you.
Robin and David, you're obviously very special and very good at what you do. For the program today, we're going to make a donation to the Sycamore Land Trust in your honor for your presentation. So thank you very much. Some acknowledgements, because this meeting wouldn't go on without a lot of help. Charles Pierce for being our official greeter today. Amy Osajima for introductions. Zoom host, Joy Harder. Reflection, Sally Gaskell. Marilyn Wood, who is under the weather, but working through Zoom today. She's our reporter. Michael Shermas, jumping around, even dodging dishes over there to make sure the questions get asked. And Tyler Martin Taylor for our Zoom producer and making it work today. A perfect job. Our next meeting will be March 26th. Our speaker will be Scott Dolson, Vice President and Athletic Director of Indiana University. So ought to be a very interesting meeting. We'll be here in the Frangipani room. Now, if you will join me in the four-way test, please stand. Four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. First, is it the truth? Second, fair to all concerned. Third, will build goodwill and better friendships. Fourth, will be beneficial to all concerned. And fifth, is it fun?
Is it fun? Yay! Thank you. It was fun.
And if you'd like to see some of the puppets, we'll stick around for a while. And we have a display up front that's got